Call to order tonight's October 3rd. Parks and Rec meeting is now in order. Roll call, Mr. Sharretts, can you perform the roll call for us, please?
Certainly. Wade Pollock,
Here?
Peter Lake,
Here.
Caitlin Foy,
Here.
Joseph Catrombone,
Here.
Rose Vanicolo.
Here.
And we'll have a moment of silence. And we'll say a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item 4.1, consider approving the agenda. Do we have a motion?
Motion.
The motion was made.
You choose.
Motion was made by Member Lake and second by Member Catrombone. Item 5, public comment for agenda items only. Seeing no members of the public, there are none. Item 6.1, consider approving the minutes from July 2nd, 2024 meeting. Do we have a motion? And a second?
Second.
The motion was made by Member Foy and seconded by Member Vanicola. All those in favor say aye. Aye. The motion moves unanimously. 6.2, there are no minutes from September 5th. So item 7.1, Public Works update. Mr. Sharretts, please.
Sure, just a few things that took place during the month of September in the park system. Again, we continue to visit and inspect all the parks 3 times a week for cleaning, inspection of any safety issues, those kind of things. The staff, in conjunction with the landscapers, continue to make sure the grass all gets cut, not only in the parks and the trails, all the open spaces of the township as appropriate, as well as the medians and those kind of things. We did some work at Drexel Lodge Park during the month. The park has, as you've probably seen, there's been a lot of algae forming in the 2 ponds. So the staff were actually out in the boat trying to work on that. And we're also bringing in a company, their name is Weeds, but they do a lot of vegetation work with us. And they're coming up with a proposal to deal with it, because it's been happening the last several years where the algae forms, even though there's bubblers in the pond. Mm-hmm. And the algae has been forming. They said there is something that can be done about it that's DEP approved with a permit. So we're going to be looking at that for 2025 for next year. There were a few trees that needed to be taken down at Drexel Lodge right when you first come in the entrance driveway. We had the arborist look at them and he said they needed to come down. So we took them down before the Family Fun Day event. And we actually have 2 new sycamore trees that are ready to go in right in that same area. So they'll be repopulated again quickly.
Is that in the bocce court area?
It's before you would get to the bocce ball court area. Literally, when you first pull in off of Westchester Pike, there were 2 trees to the left. One of them we brought the arborist in to look at because we found rot was up higher in it. And then he found the second tree and he said that one's going to need to come down too. So, we'll replant right away with them. We also did some tree work at Greer and Newby Parks. The Goshen walking trail, they're getting ready for a tree planting, which is taking place down on the second half mile of the trail. And we're helping to get ready for that as well. That's a Newtown Square and Bloom EAC project, primarily that some other entities are.
What is the date of that, George?
It is, I believe it is October the 18th. There's
That's true.
Yeah, it
Yes,
is.
that is true.
Okay.
Lisa's sponsoring.
Is involved with that. Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
So there's going to be some students from Episcopal Academy coming in to do some tree maintenance work on the 16th. And then on the 17th, Chester Ridley Crum Watershed Association on Friday is bringing in some corporate volunteers that are going to do some initial tree planting work on the Goshen Trail. And then the bigger volunteer event for the public is on Saturday. And again, that's the 18th.
You have the time on that, it's 9 to 11:30, I think.
I believe they were identifying it as 9 to 12. I can try to go look it up. I don't remember, but I know
I
it's in
have
the
it at
morning.
the office. Thanks.
Couple,
Sorry,
yeah,
the 18th is a Friday.
okay, so then
Maybe it's,
the 18th and the 19th are the two planning dates then.
The 19th is the public hearing.
Yes, that, whatever the Saturday is the public. Thank you for that.
And the Episcopal is the 16th will be
The
there.
Episcopal is Wednesday of that week.
Okay.
And that's not, they're actually not doing the work on the Goshen Trail. They're doing the work in the park across the street here.
Oh, okay.
George, I have just a question.
Mhm.
Will the holes like over at Brookside, they were already dug? Are these holes gonna? be
Yeah,
dug?
so Public Works is gonna be pre-augering the holes for the trees that go in. Now, we auger them and then they need to get enlarged or,
Sure.
resized based on the tree itself. But we just get the initial breaking of the, any stones or roots or whatever that are in the way and get that started.
Thanks.
Yeah, at least we know what we're up against when you have the machine do it.
Also, I had one other question about the parking for the volunteers.
Mhm.
There's only the one lot, right?
There's the one lot, so the instructions, and I think that there's instructions on the township website for this. So there is the lot, and then they're encouraging people to go park across 252 at the church.
Oh, we have permission.
Yes, we've got permission to park over at the church and then
Great.
then cross.
Walk down.
Presbyterian, is that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Newtown Square Press.
So I've been keeping you up to date on the Bartram Bridge project because again, it is it's a recreational area that folks use as well as a historic site. So we are in the process now of getting ready to start the stone foundation repair work. That'll be done before the end of the year, but I don't think that's going to wind up adversely affecting anybody visiting the area. We had been hoping to do a lot of the wood truss work. At this point, the prices for every bid were just coming in far too high. So we did a bid just for the stone pier restoration work. That part of the project has been awarded and they're going to be coming in and doing that. I'll let you know when we get the date starting for that. Right now, it's still the contracts are being signed on it. The bocce ball courts keep getting heavily used over at Drexel Lodge. We go over and blow the leaves off usually daily at this point and kind of get them ready because there are several leagues that make use of it. Most of them through Marple Newtown Recreation, as well as Dunwoody still comes over or once or twice a week. And more and more folks who are using the pavilion are asking about the use of the bocce ball
Okay.
courts. So they're definitely getting use over there.
Thanks.
And that is my report for the month.
What was the first thing you said, George? I'm sorry.
Was that landscaping regularly has been done and there's algae farm.
Oh, the algae. So the bubblers, I'm sorry, the bubblers, I didn't want to interrupt you after you.
It was the visit of the,
I think you're
Right.
too.
Yeah. The bubbler, they're working in the upper pond, the bubblers still?
They are working in the upper pond. Now, we had, when I had weeds come out to give me an estimate to address it, they changed the filters in the bubblers. So the bubblers are working. They needed new filters in them. But that's not what caused the algae. I mean, the algae has just been forming over the last several years at this time. And it forms.
Yeah, I was there, I don't know, about a week ago and you could not see the fish.
Yeah. I mean, the fish are fine underneath.
yeah,
They're, the fish are there underneath. They're fine, but it's,
Right.
so the staff actually went out and tried and scraped a bit of it off, but there's a lot. I mean, part of it is how quickly the water is flowing through there or not flowing.
Oh,
Yeah,
It's
so if
not
we had had a lot of rain and the water hadn't been sitting a little more, it wouldn't have formed the way that it did, but with the lack of rain we've had recently, the water's not flowing and keeping it moving.
So item 8.1, discussion and support of Firehouse Halloween community event. So it's the 26th, from 4 to 7 PM. Firehouse has a trunk and treat kind of event, and they put on demonstrations for kids, and so we were asked to support that. EAC, the library, and I'm going to be there. I don't know if anyone else wants to join, they can. We'll have-
Is
we'll
that
have
a
a
Saturday?
table.
That's a Saturday?
It's a Saturday.
Yeah,
Saturday.
from 4 to 7. I think the Historic Society has something the same day at the Paper Mill House, but that gets over about 4 o'clock.
Volunteer for that.
Okay,
I'll be there too.
Yeah,
Okay.
I have to check that schedule.
all right, cool. And so item 9.2, or I'm sorry, item 8.2, discussion and possible action about support of Historical Society's Halloween celebration. So last year they did pumpkin pie and Poe, and we were there with pumpkins for the kids to paint.
Yeah, I remember.
So they only do that every other year. I talked to Kathy Cavalier on the phone 2 days ago. They only do that every other year, so we don't have to worry about doing that this year. They have something else, a tarot card reading and some other poetry event. So we won't have to worry about that. But I just wanted it on the agenda in case we had to take action on it. Old business, 9.1, review of Family Fun Day at Drexel Lodge Park. So I just wanted to thank. We okay? Just wanted to thank George and all Public Works for everything that they've done, everything, we do. We can't do without George and his guys, but they did an amazing, spectacular job. Parking many cars, more cars than I've ever seen at Drexel Lodge Park.
It's first of all, it's an honor to help support this committee and the good work that you're doing. And yes, they were amazingly clever in how they were able to find places to put the cars. I've never seen, we've never had cars parked down at the bottom like we did Family Fun Day. And normally we don't put cars down there anyway, but it was, they were creative.
Yeah,
The one thing it was, it was a shame. We do have to figure out a way to get more folks helping with the initial traffic and parking so that members of the committee can be free to roam more and not be kind of locked down and helping the park. It's good that we're taking the parking in the back end of finding places for them.
Yes.
And again, that creative, that should be on us, because then if we park them somewhere where the grass is damaged afterwards, we're going to be the ones fixing it. So it makes sense that we're the ones doing that. But in the front, it was a shame committee members were kind of stuck having to deal with parking, and hopefully we could try to get more folks to help volunteer so to free you up to go around to the different things going on during the event.
so I think Rose was stuck at one spot. I was stuck at another, and then Pam Purser from Gathering the Circle volunteered, and she was in the middle, and it just was nonstop. And it's pretty dangerous at those crosswalks, so you have to have someone there.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe next year. One of the things that came out was that there was a lot of people from outside the community that were there, and maybe we don't advertise. Yeah, in some of those, I did take it down from neighbor something or other place, because there were some people inquiring about stuff, and I noticed they were all from outside the community, and so I just took it down off of that website. But I think more than half of the people there were from our community. Sheila was there from EAC, and she has a habit of asking people where they're from and what street they live on. And so So
Does she
she
have a
recorded.
clip? Does she have a clipboard?
She had, yeah.
A sign-in
I think
clipboard?
She's an amazing person, yeah. Thank God for Sheila in our community.
Yeah, right.
I think too, having the library with the table, they have their own following, so I think a lot of Newtown
Yeah.
people that
Mhm.
follow the library.
Yeah. Were you there, Joe?
Mhm.
I thought I saw you pull in. I waved to you at
Yeah.
one point. I'm like, hey, is that Joe? I don't even know.
It was packed.
It
Yeah.
was packed.
And
Yeah, I thought the singer was great.
did you?
Oh,
Were you there for that, Joe?
We had to leave before.
Yeah,
I
he
was
was
there at
great.
the very beginning, but I was there.
No, he had one SEL kid who was 20, I stood next to his dad, and his son was just rocking, rolling out right in front of him. It was so cool.
Oh, cool.
The petting zoo was,
Big
yeah.
Yeah, the turtles almost got
Yeah,
crushed.
the guy who runs it does very well,
Yeah.
keeping kids moving,
Yeah.
and like, he was very patient. Thought it was like pleasure.
I don't know if anyone remembers, there was a lady here who had her daughter who was a teenager. And she came and they sat in the audience
Oh,
and
yeah.
we're like, why is somebody here? You know?
Yeah.
So we finally asked her and she said her daughter was interested in, local government. She was just trying to learn and stuff. So she asked some questions and it was very nice. She ended up having a younger daughter who volunteered and worked the petting zoo. She was the person, yeah.
Oh, was that Hannah?
Yes,
She was
yes,
wonderful.
Hannah,
Yeah,
yeah.
she was
yeah,
wonderful.
Yes. She couldn't be there the whole day, so Peter had to fill her shoes.
I just made sure that the little kids, the fella, I think he should have had like a double entrance so you could go over and see the rabbits and the guinea pigs and the turtles here. So the turtles kept wanting to go with the guinea pigs. And eventually the guinea pigs went under the towel, wouldn't come out. It's just, they were tired.
The train seemed very successful.
Oh,
When
the
I was
train.
there, it didn't tip over or wasn't, remember like 2
Yeah,
years ago, it was like,
Yeah.
but,
Oh, the train almost tipped over?
I think there were too many parents.
Oh,
riding
yeah,
the train.
yeah.
I think that might have been the issue. But yeah, it seemed, I mean, everything was great.
was
And
very
there were some
smooth.
sponsor tables
Yep.
and they were well attended to. It was excellent. Wade, thank you for,
Thanks
For
for,
going above
thanks for
and beyond
everybody
for that.
doing their share too.
How much money was raised for the museum?
So I think we in total raised, it was over $2,000 and paying for everything. I think we netted $973 to give to the Railroad Museum.
Nice.
Some of that was used for food and then turned into actually more money. So
Nice.
I would assume that they got over $1,000 for that event, yeah. So, that was one thing was, people from outside the community, how do we tamper that down a little bit because the turnout seemed to be a little bit larger this year than it was last year and keeps going that way. We won't have any room to park, people, so. And, the library was great. Charming Star Play Studio was there.
oh, they had bubbles.
They donated their time, and Heather Robinson, donated, her,
Nice.
yeah.
One thing that people asked, a couple asked me, well, where's the face painting?
Right, there was
Some
face
people
painting,
ask
yeah.
about face painting.
I said, I haven't seen any kids with face paint.
So it was on there and, originally there was somebody coming, but,
Oh. It went to print.
and yeah, and their prices were astronomical to satisfy that many kids. It was just
There would have been
over the
too,
top.
there would have been
You
too
wouldn't have
high
made,
demand for
Yeah,
a face,
Yes.
even
yes,
2 face painters.
yeah,
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
There would have been more upset kids. from
that's
standing
right.
in
We gotta go home.
and-
You gotta go,
Yeah.
yeah, at least everybody was upset this.
yeah. Just 2 people.
So next year, if we get younger volunteers, perhaps we can do the temporary tattoo thing. We discussed that. And we just didn't get enough young volunteers to do that. So I guess we'll have it again next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Same approximate time.
Yeah, it seemed to work out fine, yeah, I think.
This is getting word of mouth, so we really won't have to advertise too much. Oh, quick.
Yeah,
Weather was
yeah.
great,
that was
too.
awesome.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Oh, that was beautiful.
Yeah, thank God, you were in the sun for the most part, yeah. I was like, oh my gosh, poor Rose.
Last year it got rained out and then we had to postpone until the spring.
That's
Trying
right,
to
yeah,
remember.
So it was nice to have the original.
yeah.
It was a great event.
And, you know, there were other volunteers there. I can't think of who all was there. My mother-in-law was actually there. Thank my mother-in-law. And Kathy Cavalier was there at the Railroad Museum, and Larry Fisher was there.
Yeah, there were, I want to say 5 Historic Society volunteers that came to
Wow.
help. Yeah.
That end of things went well up there.
Every
I didn't
time,
even get a chance to go.
fortunately, I was able to really circulate
Yeah.
and see how things were going in different places. And yes, it seemed like everything flowed well in the museum area and the cars and all that. So people, you know, had it. And there were enough Historic Society volunteers that they were able to learn about what was there and the story behind it, which was, you know, part of the point. And again, circulate people through and then get them over to the different activities.
So, you know, one of the things we had discussed was, you know, canceling concerts just because the turnout and the, you know, for whatever reason, maybe it's God's choice, I don't know.
Weather.
It just doesn't work out with the weather, yeah,
Yeah.
no matter how hard we try, so maybe if we do a similar type of family. Can think of anything, I mean, in the spring. And then item 9.2 is discussion about Newby Park basketball clinic. So it ended up being Richie now from Marple Newtown Rec got back to us. He had a company that was going to come in, set up little basketball nets that this company comes in and they do a clinic. It would be an hour long, but it ended up being $20 or $25 a kid. And, you know, to ask the township to do that, it would be kind of unfair because we'd have to limit the amount of people we could have there. You know, some kids would be left out. Yes, some people can afford that and others can't. And again, it would be a limited quantity just because of the logistics of the park. So we decided to cancel that. So we didn't get to do a Newby Park event this year. We are going to do the, yes. Spring.
Were we there last?
Not this past spring, no, we didn't have, yeah. I'm
So
not
there's
doing-
no Newby Park event.
No. So I guess, you know, the only other thing I have is, you know, we have the budget items that we put in for. Do you know if they were discussed by the supervisors or?
So I actually don't think that the budget has been consolidated from all the committees and all the things. Like, I know we haven't even presented our budget at this point.
Okay,
So Steve is working on that. They just hired a new finance director for the township. He's in his 3rd or 4th day at this point, I think. So he's getting his hands around that. Steve's away this week, but when he comes back next week, I think the budget is priority 1 for him. But he has been collecting everything from all the different boards and committees.
does anyone have anything else?
And anything with the Eagle Scout project?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I mean, I'll let you know when it's scheduled for. I don't have the date for when the installation is scheduled, but he's approved to move forward with it. He was getting his permit from the code department to do the work. The manager had asked that he get a permit and go through the process. He's not paying for the permit fees, but he's going through the process of getting the permit. So he is in the process of that. I know after We had polled everybody to see if we were comfortable with his pergola being moved over to Brookside Park. And then Wade, you were at the board meeting when he made his official presentation to the board and made that change and did it, so it was favorably received. He went to the Eagle Scout board to get his project officially approved by them, and they did. So he's moving forward with it.
He did a good job presenting. So it is, it covers the bench by the tree inside the fenced in area of Brookside. Yeah. Does anyone else have anything? Public comment, nothing came in, right? There's nobody here. Okay, we're adjourned.